at this stage of the season. It's not about being at your best. You look back at even in our time, we didn't play particularly great, but it was all about the result, and they did the same. You need a little bit of luck. I think City had that a little bit as well, just like we did. So fantastic! It's a great achievement from City point of view, and it's all about joining us and being a treble winners.
Yorkie, tell me from a point of view of playing against City, how would you set up again? I actually thought Inter Milan played City pretty well, maybe as well as they could have at the weekend there. But if you're facing a team of City's quality, what would be the first kind of thing you'd attempt to stop?
Well, I wouldn't stop them because they're so good at regaining the ball and keeping possession. So I'd probably go into a mid-block more likely, and then set up that way. So you allow them to play out from the back. And then when you get to that middle of the pitch, you kind of then set up your block to try and sort of stop them from penetrating you into the team, into your attacking. The reality is that Stone is the one which create the overload in midfield. So then what you have to do is become brave, the extra man, because you got to remember, Ali, is the fact that it's 11v11. You've got to be brave in that circumstances when they're creating the overload for people to step in there and sort of confront Stone. So you've got to push one of the center midfielders into Stone when he comes in, and push one of your defenders into one of Kevin De Bruyne or Gundogan, and make sure you go man for man with Haaland at the back. That's what I will do. Now that I'm a coach, that's sort of the assessment that I came up with, or part of the solution in terms of not trying to stop them from creating that overload in midfield.
Dwight, people are always going to compare different teams in the Premier League. You go back to your team in '99 was a brilliant team. I played against your side, and the Invincibles in '04. And I think you just got to admire that team at that time. I think it's very difficult to compare your '99 teams and the team Man City have got now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where football is debatable, and everybody's got their opinion. We were the best team in our era. And, even in your time, as well, that Invincible team was the best team at that particular time as well. So the reality is City are the best team at this stage, and that's why they've been able to win the treble. You got to admire that sort of type of football and what they have gone through as a team. We experience it. So, my hat's off to them. I don't have any envy in terms of, they completing the treble, because they simply have been the most consistent team and the best team in this time of the year.
Yorkie, what do United need not to certainly close the gap and make themselves challengers for the title again?
I think it's been well documented, Ali. The fact that number 9 position has really become a real problem for us. You've been there, you played that position yourself. That's a key element of any team to be successful. And so the fact that, Anthony Martial, sometimes you got the Rashford playing in those circumstances, that consistency, you are the best person to actually acknowledge this, because to be a number 9, you have to play the position every week. It's probably the most difficult position in the game in terms of your back towards goal. And you develop that instinct, your movement, you develop that way. That's why centre-backs are becoming good in their position, because they only play that position. You're not used to going out wide and playing left wing or right wing. You develop that position over a period of time. You become really good at it. You become instinctively in terms of where the goal is, what to do, your movement, your running, your timing of your run, all that sort of stuff. That's part of your education when you play that stuff. So for United not to really fill that gap, you can see why they're lagging. If they got someone who can score you 25 to 30 plus goals a season, I think then they will be very, very closer to that position. On top of that, a centre-back is a position that they're a little bit concerned, because the number of injuries, the lack of consistency pairing that they have really does cause them a bit of a problem. So I think those are the two position I think if United can fill in terms of getting an extra body in, probably in midfield area as well, probably 3 players I will say, then I assume that they will be very, very close to City for next season.
Dwight, all morning we've been talking about their celebrations, Man City, because I think they're still going on now and all the papers are picking up on them front and back pages. What were yours like in '99?
was magnificent. I was the only one who was celebrating, and everyone looked at me like if I was crazy. And you to see these players are jetting off to Magaluf or wherever it was, or Spain or wherever they've been for 48 hours and then back, or 24 hours and back. It's a real special moment, and people don't understand how difficult it is. And those are moments that you can't relive when you go through those type of period, because the reality is, where does City go from there? If they do not to win the treble next year, and I remember Sir Alex Ferguson pointing this out to me, it's a failure. You have to consider yourself a failure. If you don't repeat yourself and win the Premier League and win the Champions League and you don't win the FA Cup, that's a failure as far as City is concerned, because certainly so Alex Ferguson made that known to me when I was speaking to him about it. And even though I finished up the top scorer the following year on my treble winning, it's a failure because you don't top what you already have done. So the celebration, it's a reason for doing that, because it's a special moment and something that is historical.
Yorkie, I want to put on record right now that I think you'd give Jack a proper run for his money in the celebration stakes, pal. Don't worry about that. I've got you right up there.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.